boy, but I ain't a boy no more. I've seen some things that a man just can't ignore, and this world's gonna see what I'm standing for. I've kept my peace, but I can't hold my tongue anymore. You can't buy my silence, you can't steal my voice, you can't keep me quiet. I will break the noise. Try to beat me down, tell me to shut my mouth, but there's a time to speak, and the time is now. The squeaky wheel is always getting grease. Well, I've been sitting still, parked here on the side of the street, always tiptoeing, trying not to wake the beast. Oh, but here I come. All you monsters are gonna run from me. You can't buy my silence, you can't steal my voice, you can't keep me quiet. I will bring the noise. Try to beat me down, tell me to shut my mouth, but there's a time to speak, and the time is now.
When I was talking with the gentleman from Belcom, and we were discussing the lie, everything he was telling me was different from what we were being told was the truth. And at one point I asked him, I said, man, you guys, you lied about a lot, didn't you? And instantly he said, no, we didn't lie about certain things, we lied about everything. None of it was true.
There are only 3 locations: heaven, the abyss, and the underworld. The abyss is negative space. It is a binary system fueled by the black sun, home of the Sith Lords and demons, which are beings of negative polarity. protection. It is an AI net Ra put around us to hold us captive. It is the origin of the Smith program, the holographic sky. NASA represents it on patches as an electron field surrounding Earth. The Greeks called it the 12 Ethers.
Guys, whoa! You see like the that shadow behind it? That is freaky. Freaky looking. Look at that.
Oh, that is cool.
That is weird looking. I've never seen that before.
It's like a shadow.
Have any of you guys ever seen a shadow behind a cloud? That's what it looks like. It looks like it's a shadow. There's like 3 layers of it basically. That is freaky looking. That is weird.
Good morning, everybody. This is Sheila Aliens, and today is September 6th, 2011. I have some videos I want to show you. This first one was recorded in 2009 in the UK. What I find weird about it is the orb in between the 2 streams of chemtrails. It keeps perfect formation with them, like almost like it's an invisible triangle, leaving those lines in the sky. And look how it cuts off. Contrail my ass. And just going straight up. They're basically drawing on the sky some bullshit. I just thought that was really weird. What is that orb doing there? There's something else happening here that we don't even see. It probably has nothing to do with the airplanes. It's probably something else. Next one. You see the same thing. Chemtrails start out of nowhere. And I found this on a foreign website for meteorite enthusiasts who record fireballs and shooting stars with their cameras. They set them up at night and then they just automatically record when something moves. I dug and dug for these videos. Nobody had seen them before. I was searching in different languages and everything. So these videos are legit because the people who posted these, they don't care about UFOs. They care about getting comets and meteors, and that's it. So this is just under their little section for unexplainable stuff, and they hardly said much else about it. I just think it's fascinating. Look at this. The moon is melting. You have a plane or something leaving a chemtrail right in front of it to blur it out as the moon is melting, and then it blurs it out completely. It's fucking crazy. I'm not sure what you call this here, but I call it crazy. So that was posted to YouTube in 2009, and I thought this next one was fake until I saw this one, and I was like, wow, this really is something going on. It's fucking crazy. And I did speed this up just so you could better see the effect that's happening in the sky. So, do any of you have a good idea of what the hell is going on? Because I don't. I can't even begin to imagine what these videos are showing us. But something's off. You know that by looking at it. But what is it? Heck if I know. And heck if any of us know, but it's interesting to discuss and think about. Much love. Meow meow.
talking with a gentleman from Belcom, and we were discussing the lie. Everything he was telling me was different from what we were being told was the truth. And at one point I asked him, I said, man, you guys, you lied about a lot, didn't you? And instantly he said, no, we didn't lie about certain things. We lied about everything. None of it was true.
Thunder in the air before a storm that rips, anger in my heart, a finger on my lips. You showed me that silence that haunts this troubled world. You showed me that silence can't speak louder than words. Words end in disaster on the rocks in pieces. I know something lives on there, but I can't say what it is. You showed me that silence that haunts this troubled world. You showed me that silence can't speak louder than words. Thunder in the air before a storm that rips, anger in my heart, a finger on my lips. You showed me that silence that haunts this troubled world. You showed me that silence can't speak louder than words. You showed me that silence that haunts this troubled world. You showed me that silence can't speak louder than words.
Lie about certain things. We lied about everything. None of it was true. He said, no, we didn't lie about certain things. We lied about everything. None of it was true. None of it was true.
This is not a camera lens. The rings are always on the side of the sun. The poles are inside, not outside. And when it's in motion, the planets go right off the screen. These are called the master polarity. Their purpose is to divide polarity among the populations. The negative polarity is drawn to the left mast. The positive polarity is drawn to the right mast. They flash in time with the sun's mast. At the time of the division of the families, the left mast is bound and the right mast moves off. That's why they called it the left-hand path of Set. And why they told you there were only two paths, the right-hand path of God and the left-hand path of Set. Another function of the mast is that extended, they act as a guide rail along the tracks, which allows the planet to leave its pole and fly independently. One of the things that Anne's New World Order did was use HARP to break off the masts on Earth in an attempt to sabotage our move. God and the Allied forces worked around this by repairing what could be repaired and bringing in a tow. Earth is shown at the top of our pole, which is called being T'd. We were in T-minus countdown to leave the pole that held Anne in the Asgartha tunnels.
Hi everybody. So yesterday, it was yesterday, Richard asked if someone had an idea what this whole construct would look like and if someone had the artistic talent to put onto paper. So I've cobbled together a little crude drawing. As when he put forth the request, I simply asked for a schematic through my heart, and this is what has came through. So it came through in two different views. We have a top view, and we have a side view. So let me start with the top view, because as you can see, some information was transmitted along with the drawings. Hello, kitty. Hello. How you go? So here with the top view, we of course have Ed here in the center, and so he's on this big cog here, and of course there's different layers to it. Of course, this is just a crude drawing, yet it's all interconnected, kind of, think like clockwork. It really is like that. So here's Ed. Here's the portal that takes us out of the abyss, whatever this realm may be. This is also the firewall that keeps Ed from view, the visible sun. And I'm just hearing now that this is also where we have just pierced today. I've been seeing a few photos up where it just shows like a wing or something that they have labeled as Earth. What they're telling me is that we've just passed through that firewall. Wow, that's awesome. I cannot even put into words the joy that I'm feeling right now. It's way awesome. And so we have these different gears here, and so you can see, maybe, okay, there we go. So there's like little holes inside of each of the cogs, and those are where the poles insert. So those are the female parts where the poles come in and be the male plug, at least at the bottom of it. And in one of the cogs, there is a place in the center that is where Earth used to be on its pole. And for the most part, what they told me was that they intended it to be stationary, so that each of the different VAs, the planets, whatever name you want to give for them, could easily keep the planet in a quarantine status. And so each of these little insertion points can, at will, go to the different cogs to take up a different defensive position, or as you know, this is where astrology, that whole science comes into play. Is that, you know, we have Saturn, which they tell me is the primary CPU for the computer matrix that we are currently inhabiting. And the different planets, while not directly processing it, are each projecting a different aspect of the matrix into it. And so that's where all these astrological influences come from, which of course it got the idea for the zodiac time key, which surrounds this whole realm, which of course, you know, at certain times opens up certain portals that go into the other parts of space, into the other heavenly realms, rather than just being in the abyss or in the pit. And so what they had me right here is that while Earth was intended to be in a stationary place for better safekeeping, its pole could be put into the cog system and shifted around to other locations as needed if the need arose. Obviously, they were not able to implement that before the conclusion of the war, of our allies making their way here. Okay, and so in another cog somewhere, so they tell me there's at least 10 of these cogs. You know, they're on different levels, not necessarily all one plane. So, you know, we're talking a plane of sight and different layers on it. Saturn was in another one of these fixed locations that, again, if the need arose, could move. It would just, if they did move Saturn, it would have caused a lot of glitches in the matrix, as the energy being projected from Saturn at Earth would need time to adjust and catch up to the new location and different bandwidth requirements for the energy transmission, etc., etc. Okay, so let's move on to the side view. So here we see Ed safely, quote-unquote, behind his firewall, safely out of sight. And of course we know he is destroyed at this point. Here is the portal home. And this is the firewall. So as many of the Seshi videos or the other website, I don't recall it off the top of my head, you know, it just, you know, especially showing the mob coming in, you know, it would have that concave part there. And in the Lies That NASA Told video, Rose mentioned that was actually the sun, and it's actually concave like that, and it's meant to refract back any line of sight, so that the true nature of the sun, the visible portions, this portal, would not be so easily recognized. It also serves as an amplification for the different VAs, sending their astrological mumbo-jumbo at Earth. So here we see Earth on its pole. And, you know, I find it interesting that, you know, we're seeing these pictures of Earth in flight mode. When I drew this, it was drawn in its horizontal position, and I was like, well, no, my intention was to, you know, show what Earth was like on the poles, and I tried to erase it, and this is what happened. It was meant to as an indication that we are in fact horizontal at this moment. And so Earth is there in this cog, and of course, you know, there's different layers going down of these different cogs, so that, you know, the various different VAs, planets, you know, there are more than 8 different ones, that we're told of anyway. You know, all circulating around and just doing what they were doing. And so here is a representation of one of them. And so when I originally drew this, it's just like a half circle with a flat plane, mountains, all that, and then a dome overhead. Whereas the vase seem to have like a triangular base that sits on top of the pole. And so again, they just rotate around as Ed does whatever he does. And if they have to, they can just hop onto different cogs, go where they need to go. Again, to either alter the frequency that they're sending as their astrological signature, as a defense, da-da-da-da-da. Okay. So what they're telling me is maybe it was a few months ago, a month ago, something like that. I don't know, it all blends together. There was pictures showing that Venus was in this pincher, you know, two different spheres, just kind of holding in place. And what they were just telling me was that the act of doing that prevented Venus or Mercury, I think that was another one that was caught in those pincer attacks, were unable to move their poles onto different cogs, and so in that way it also negated what they were projecting as part of the astrological construct that they hijacked when they shut down and altered the zodiac time key that make up the different constellations that make up like the Gemini, the Taurus, all of that. This is also where we see the star field surrounding everything, and of course we know that. Okay, wow. So what they're telling me is that the star field is like the sky dome. It's another holographic projector field. So if someone did happen to escape the Earth dome, they would just simply run into the holodeck wall and they would be recaptured and likely killed or whatever for escaping, whatever. Okay, so they want me to read what is right here. Gears that rotate, giving enemy Va easy access to maintain their hold on Earth. The insertion points can transfer between the gears at will. The gears surround Ed. There are at least 10 in this construct. Each one has numerous Vas beyond the 8 they told us about. Think asteroids and more. So the asteroids themselves are also Vas. Although Saturn is the main generator / processor of the matrix, each Va has its own input. So again, you know, that's how you know the whole astrological thing affects us, or at least it used to. They don't exist anymore. So yeah, that's what I got. It's pretty mind-blowing just how intricate all of this is, and I'm sure, you know, there is more information about this. This is simply what I've received at this moment, and I hope that you gain greater clarity and better able to visualize this area. Not that it really matters for too much longer. Yeah, it is fun to marvel at just just the enormity of what it is that we are stuck in. So thank you for watching. I hope you all are having a beautiful day or night wherever you may be. I love you, and we will talk again soon.
inside structure.
Is it hollow?
Yeah, there's only a surface. There's nothing inside.
Is the sun actually, do you believe, combusting in on
It's
itself?
not burning anything. There's no fusion in the sun. That's well understood.
Proven.
Yeah, well, there's just not the way to prove that there is any. It's only in the flares that you get fusion. That's why all the X-rays. The flares, the arcs, and the X-rays, and the microwaves, and whatever result of fusion in the arcs. There's no fusion in the sun. They don't know how the sun works.
Why do you, what's special, how does the sun make light?
It's a transformer. Transforms from some other dimension. It's not burning anything. It doesn't have to. It's a converter.
Of what?
I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's what it does. That's the only thing it can do, because that's how everything works.
Transforming from another dimension?
Yeah, you could say it's taking energy from another dimension, counter space. There's no energy, actually. You can't, most of it you can't even measure in outer space or see.
You can't see.
No, you can't see the sun in free space.
So the sun is not visible in outer space?
Not in free space. It's only invisible when gross matter becomes involved, like the Earth's atmosphere and envelope and the surface of the moon or whatever. That makes the light. Otherwise, there is no light. You can see the moon, you can see the Earth, but you can't see the sun or you can't see the stars.
But you can see the planets and the satellite.
Right. You can see material objects, but you cannot see the sources of light. There is no light until there's a material object.
To reflect off.
So that means there's no time delay. So the whole time delay thing is meaningless. It doesn't take light years. There are no light years because there's no light. So that means that the light you see from the distant stars isn't 4 million years old. It could be only minutes old. It could be instantaneous. All the theories collapse.
just can't ignore. And this world's gonna see what I'm standing